Hey everyone, Craig Williams here, back with another video. In this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to make a progressive or techie progressive track. For this, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to use one of the tracks that I made called SDJ. I made this while I was sort of out and about on the road in Australia, or back home in Australia. Hopefully you guys get something out of it. If you want to see anything in more detail, just hit us up. I'm also going to show you on Thursday how I made one of the synths, so I'll sort of cover that area. But if there's anything you want to see in more detail, just drop us a line and I'll do another quick video, or I'll explain it in a comment. So this is the track here. You can just go. So it's kind of that big room progressive house sort of sound, but it's pretty techy as well, so that's why I sort of lumped it into two areas. The initial idea come from, you can see here I started the actual track at bar 17, but I usually tend to work on like an 8 bar, or in this case just a 4 bar loop. So this is pretty much how the 4 bar loop was prior to me actually starting the arrangement. So I started off with the kick and the toms. And you can hear there I've got little effects in there, so I've got like a little tom fill here, which is all I've done was taken the tom, change this to 32, cut it, dragged it like this, pushed the equals. I've got the equals on my keyboard, and that sort of joins the region together. So we've got a joint region here, double click, functions, and fade in. So it's kind of similar, but yeah, that's generally the idea. And I found that these little fills here and there sort of help give a bit more groove and stuff like that. So from there, I started putting in some pre-kicks. I found that with this style of like the real tech sort of heavy progressive or big room or whatever you want to call it, the drums were the thing that I thought that was going to drive the track along. There's lots of stabs with the synth, so it's not really so much melody driven or anything like that. It's just more the drums, and I just wanted the drums to be like just locked in there and just make you dance with just the drums sort of thing. So that's just a tiny little pre-kick in there. After that, I would have put the claps and the snare. So I've got the snare there, and then I've got a clap on every second. Just gives it a little bit more variance and helps move the track along. And as you can see here, to save on processing, most of the sounds don't have any processing on it, and then they just go into a bus, which I've just got everything together. I made this on the laptop that I use to DJ, which is just one of the new, well, it was new at the time, the Mac Pro. So obviously processing power isn't, sorry, it's just the MacBook, so the processing power isn't that great, so I had to sort of conserve a little bit more. Another one I put in there was just this little minimal drum loop. And to find out how I made that, I've got a tutorial how to make minimal loops, which is up on my page. You can have a look at that. You can see there it's just the MIDI, and it's just the little hits and clicks and stuff like that. and then just the rest of it is just sort of general different loops, and then I've got like a little ultra beat in there as well. So the rest of it is pretty straight down the line, and then the synth we've got in there is the same synth that I used to make the Voodoo People bootleg, and there's a tutorial for that as well, so you can head over and find out how to make that one. And the bass, I think it's just a producer bass, and I've just tweaked it a bit. Oh no, sorry, it's a plucked bass, and I just pulled down the cutoff. Just wanted that real sort of solid bass sound. I wanted everything to sort of lock together, so these play at the same time. And when it's just a solid pattern, and it helps get it going a little bit more. I also made this sound down here. Obviously that's not the pattern that I use, but this is the sort of sound that you hear creep in around the 2-minute mark, and I'll show you how I put that in. So for the arrangement, it's pretty self-explanatory. You got 32 bars of intro. I've got the standard reverse bits to bring in each section. I find that helps with a transition, and you can bring in a new element because people sort of expect a drop out the kick and then have the little effect, and then bring in something else. Drop out the kick, have the effect, and then change. In this one I brought in the snare, and I changed the hat pattern from just the offbeat to what's that? I found that helps add a little bit more pace to the track and sort of gets people feeling that there's something going to come up. From there, just a big. This is just a small breakdown, and you can see I've just got the filter going there, and some other little effects that I've done is for the minimal drum loop, the MIDI loop that I've got, is I sent that to the, I think it was to the number 2 bus, which has the delay on it, and then bounce that down to audio, so you can hear it starting to build, and then because I've got audio, I could just cut it and then just move this section over here. With the automation, you'd have to mute stuff and all sorts of stuff, so it's just easier for me to bounce it down. I can see that that has the delay on there, and I can just move that wherever I want in the track to add a little bit more variance. The normal standard sort of effects there, and then I've got just white noise with the release fairly high up, sort of adds, it's like a sort of a crash sort of sound. So you can hear that come in just here. Just got the toms, kick and synth sort of going there. Again, drop the kick out, got the effect, and bring something else in. Drop it out, effect, and this is where I start to bring in more elements. And this is where this synth comes in now. What I did for that was I had the had massive, set it to the large reverb. See if I don't have the automation still on, but I could just do it now for you guys. So I had So that's the wrong one. We want main. We'll just do it on this reverb for now. But so had the reverb. Had it go up, and then did it to the amount that I wanted. Then head over, soloed the reverb, and then bounce that out. So all I'm getting in the bounce is the reverb. You want to unsolo that. So all you're getting is the reverb sound, and then you can use that audio, same as I did for the minimal loop. You can use that audio and use it throughout the track as an effect. So you can hear it's like a build effect there. So it just creeps the sound in. People don't really realize it's there, and then it's sort of playing a call and response rhythm to the silent and the bass with the massive sound. Again, I use the hi-hats there to help speed up the track a little bit before it goes in the breakdown. The piano here is just the EXS playing just, we've just got some effects on there to help add a little bit more to it. Again, I use that massive effect there. I got the minimal with the effect at the end there. Good one for this is I've got a bunch of effects running. So I got a high pass filter and a tape delay, and you hear these in full effect as it comes up to just prior to the drop. Got a little break here. So it helps sort of add that sort of suck sound prior to the drop, pulls everyone in, and then the track drops and hopefully people are into it and they're dancing and whatnot. So I've carried the piano sound over into the main section to help sort of tie everything together. What's some other bits in there? Again, maybe I overdid it a little bit too much on this track, but I've taken the last of every 8 bars, I've taken the kick out, and then I got the effect going in every 8 as well. And then at the end of a main section, I've used that massive effect again. I've got some synths there. And then again I got it right at the end here. And start to pull it down. I've made this section here a little bit longer than I usually would. I usually have that sort of section around 32 bars, but I put it at 64 because of its sort of tech nature. I wanted it to have a little bit more to mix into, so you can sort of create the atmosphere a bit more and the build a little bit more. So that's about it. If you want to know sort of any other bit in more detail, or if you want me to cover anything in more detail, or if you want me to cover techniques on how to do things, I prefer not to just make how to make this synth or how to make that synth, but I'm more than happy to show you how I make any of the synths from my tracks. So don't forget to subscribe to my Facebook and my YouTube, and there's tons of free music over at SoundCloud. So until next time, see you later.